everybody, it's Dave Clark, aka the Pattern Guy. Hey, promised you last week I'd start doing layout and show you the type of wood in the pattern shop. Right now it's real slow around Christmas time, so I don't have any pattern work right now. So what I figured we'd do is just come on down to the Foundry, we give you a little Foundry Tour, and down the road we'll do some work in here. But today I just want to show you around what I do and all the equipment we have in here. So real meager shop, 14 foot by 28 foot. A buddy of mine, he's letting me use this space. It's attached to a real big building here. So, but he gave me this space to use for that. So what we do in here, this is a sand foundry. So to get started, what we do is we use two different types of sand in here. They're both green sand. One of them is called Petrobond. It was actually invented here in Ohio at a college called Kent State. Famous college actually. They had the shootings there. They have a foundry course there. So a professor, I believe it was in the 70s, came up with the Petrobond. It uses oil instead of water. So it's a special clay that he uses, the oil, and it's a biodegradable oil, and that it's not the typical oil like motor oil in the car and that's all you put in it, and you got your sand. That's what I'm using right now. It's really good for real small and fine parts. I'm doing a lot of small little locomotive work. So that's what I'm using. The other sand we use is another green sand. We use bentonite clay. It's a specific clay. It's greenish in color, greenish gray. I use it for kitty litter. Kitty litters, bentonite clay actually. A lot of home foundry guys will grind that up and use it. I actually, down the road too, my vendor will sell to smaller guys. So we'll get, as soon as I figure out how to do the links and all that stuff, let me talk to him to see specifically if he wants to take care of it or whatever. So we'll get you in touch with being able to buy small quantities of this clay in that, okay? So basically I got 255 gallon drums. This is the bentonite clay. It's not what I'm using right now. What I'm using is this sand right here. This is what's called the muller. Okay, this is where we mix the sand. So every time we make a mold, we actually I just mixed up a new batch. This is the Petrobond clay, okay? So we're gonna be using that. It's really cold right now, so it's not gonna stick together. We gotta warm some stuff up in here. So basically what we do is made this molding bench here, and this actually is all made of scraps. Everything on here is all scrap wood here. But what we do is real quick, we just get a flask. I don't have the right size flask. Here's a flask here. These are all flasks here. Okay, these are aluminum flasks. These are what I got with my original purchase. I got these flasks, that furnace over there. That's the furnace, and then this sand muller I bought from the school. That's how I got started. So I need a bunch of different flasks right now. I showed you in the one video how we're making flasks. Actually, this one is one that we made. So I made the pattern for the castings. We cast those, machine them. Eventually I want to get all kinds of different sizes. As you can see here, these are just wooden ones. I'll actually show you how I make these too. These work really well, and I can make these real quick. So the only reason I want to get all metal one of these days, these don't last too long. As you can see, we're burning up here. So basically here, I don't want to get too much into this, but you get your flask, we put our pattern in, we got the cope and drag, and it's a drag, the pins are up, you put your, this is the wrong size, but you put your pattern in, okay, and then we take sand from the muller, and right now, a lot of places, a lot of foundries that I've been in, they got sand systems. I'll take you to some of my customers' foundries down the road and show you the different sand systems they have in that. But basically, we mull the sand, mix it, drop it down into the bucket. I bring a bucket over here, scoop it out, and we start ramming up a mold, okay? So this is a molding bench. Like I said, I made this, and it's, you know, it's got all the tools on it. They sell, different foundry companies sell like metal benches like this and that, okay? So, but you know, just get started, I made that out of wood, all right? Then another thing we do over here, for the hollow spots on the casting, like I was saying in the video last week, we make what's called a core, okay? So these are little chunks of sand right here, okay? Actually, that went with this pattern here. Those little dark marks here, the black, that's a core prints, okay? That'll make a little hollow, and we'll show you down the road, okay? And that'll fit in there, that'll make the hollow spot, okay? And then they'll be able to dig this sand out here. You know, here's the core box. This is what we made it in. All right, so we put the two halves together, fill it full of sand. We put a CO2 in there. It hardens, and you make these cores. And like I said, we'll come down here, make a mold, make some cores, and do a whole thing. These are actually molds I got ready. I did them a couple days ago, and we had problems with the furnace. I couldn't get a lid, so we got that all straightened out. So later I'm gonna pour them, but like I said, up this intro on today, so we'll do one of those down the road where we'll get the furnace set up and poured. So here I made this little bench really quick. This is where, you know, I got a couple core boxes here. This is a core box. You know, same thing, we'll fill it full of sand. All right, and then here's a CO2 bottle. It's got a little thing on the end here. We just blow it in there. For bigger things, we just, you know, for this core box here, I use this plunger and, you know, use it to harden it. So we're gonna make some of these different sizes down the road here too. So, but that's how you harden. What we do for the core mixture, here's our weigh scale. We have to weigh all the sand out. So when I make the Petrobond, okay, I put like 50 pounds of sand, and then I actually have the formula right here. It's 100 pounds of sand, 2 pounds of oil, and 5 pounds of clay. So we'll put that on there, weigh it, put it in the sand muller there, and mix it, okay? So same thing when we make the core sand. I'll use the core sand, we'll measure it out, and then we put in down here, this is in a different thing. One of my customers gave me some sodium silicate. He gets it in a 55-gallon drum. My Foundry supply guy sells sodium silicate. I think he does in gallons. Gallons or 5 gallons, not that expensive. So, you know, down the road we'll get you hooked up with that guy and be able to get that. So what we do is we, you know, put the sand in here, put the sodium silicate, and mix it with this mixer. And then it actually, it'll start drying out in there. So this, I didn't have to make a big batch because I was making those smaller cores over there. So I ended up putting it in a, you know, container with lid. It stays, you know, this is going to be good to go in another week or two. I can come down here and make some more of those cores, you know. So, but beyond that, that'll start hardening a lot there. So then from there, you know, once we have our molds here, like I said, these are ready to pour. So what we do is we got this, I can never pronounce this thing, it's Magellan or something like that. It's called a little speedy melt furnace. This furnace, I can melt aluminum, brass, bronze. Allegedly I can melt cast iron in there. I haven't tried the cast iron yet. We had to fabricate, this is another thing I said, we make, you know, I'll teach you how to make a bunch of stuff. So we needed a ventilation system. So this actually, here, I'll do this real quick because we gotta do this. We fabricated this little system here. We're not the best neighborhood, so we want to try to get it fairly secure. So we got this, so this just folds out. And we got two exhaust fans here. So we're underneath this hood here, so all the hot air comes up and it exhausts out there with the somebody else fabricated that for me, and it's a little bit too big for in my shop, so we did that. But we fabricated, that's all metal. That was an old window. We took the window out and put the exhaust fan in, so when the furnace is going, you know, we can exhaust out. I haven't tried the cast iron yet, because that's you get up to 2780. With the bronze, we get up to 1800, and I had just the one fan. It crapped out on me one time, and we actually set the sprinklers off in here, so that kind of stunk. But you know, another fabrication, what I want to try to do eventually is be able to take the crucible out here by myself. Right now, my buddy comes in, you know, and it helps me take the crucibles out. But I fabricated up this little boom crane here, so eventually I want to be able to take the crucible out by myself, so, and pour jazz by myself. So this is a crucible, so this actually goes into the furnace. You open up the furnace, and crucible sets in the furnace here, and then here's like some of the scrap metal over here I keep. I got some aluminum. I got to do some bronze today, so we're going to be melting bronze. So when we take that metal and put it in here, we weigh it too before we do. I called the EPA before I started seeing if there's any regulations or whatever. And he said this is just way too small of a system right now to worry about. He said, but log everything you do, log what we melt. So I weigh everything. It's kind of neat to know. Down the road I'll be able to say, hey, I melted how much metal in it. So when we take this bronze, put it in here, it's called charging. You charge the furnace. Okay, so in a little bit I'll charge this furnace, I'll get it going, and I'm gonna pour some bronze down the road. So like I said, we'll get to the point where I want to get a project, so I want to take it start to finish. You know, lay things out, building the pattern, build a core box, and then we'll come down here. I'll show you how to make cores. I'll show you how to make the molds and everything, and then we'll light the furnace up, and we'll pour some metal in that. But yeah, this is the small foundry, but we get some castings done. I teach as much as I can here. So when I get next week, hopefully we'll start working on the pattern and that. So till then, we'll see you. Have a good one out there, guys.